There are people saying that Bitcoin will go higher from here up only, and there are people saying that the bottom is not in and we will see much lower prices, and there are people saying we don't know, but we can speculate a little bit. Check out the odds, check out the statistics, because crypto looks boring right now. But I think, guys, that a really big move is going to happen pretty soon. I'll show you why. There are a lot of things that make me feel like, shit, I want to stay cautious right now. I want to stay cautious because this boringness might trick you into something big. So let's check it out. Welcome to the FOMO Factory. Would appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. You would help me a lot. You would help yourself a lot as well. Let's get this to 1,000 subscribers. We are almost there, guys. So yeah, let's check out what I have to say about this. Look, I'm going to show you a couple of on-chain indicators that give me a, certain indication on what might happen. But also just look at the chart for Bitcoin. And in the last couple of days, we've seen a dump again. Well, a dip. I mean, every move, like Bitcoin, if we put it on the daily chart, Bitcoin is being so boring all the time that even this small move right here looks like, oh, it's the end. Like this was a 7% move, right? And that's even with not even the body closes or opening. It's actually, it was a final move of like 5%. Like, come on, are we not getting used to crypto anymore? That 5% moves happen so now and then? Yeah, I don't know. What happened yesterday, though, is that, well, the price came down. That's what happened. But a lot of people, I think, were expecting, and let me put this the right way. This looks stupid. A lot of people were expecting Bitcoin to find its previous low of around $17.6 thousand and go beneath that. We didn't make a new low for now. Maybe by the time you watch the video, we have a new low. Could be, but maybe not. But we didn't do that. We recovered pretty, good. What I notice is that this whole region right here, let's say around around $19,000 up till around $20,000, between that is just a very strong support area, right? We tried to break this so many times now since like June. It's now September, right? Since June, the bears are trying to get it lower, and it just doesn't work. So this tells me one thing. Bitcoin is very strong at these levels, and I bought a little Bitcoin yesterday, really at the low, so that's good. Could go lower, therefore I bought a little bit, of course, but I think there's nothing wrong with already, dollar costing in this area. And now there are a couple of things that I want to, I'm not saying it will go lower. I'm not saying it will go higher. I don't know. But we can check some stuff out to see what might happen. So Bitcoin, the make or break time for Bitcoin will be, if this support holds, will be second week of October. That should be the biggest move or the biggest moment for Bitcoin there has been in a long time, like almost a year. Because for the people that have missed the previous videos, we have been rejected from this point at this trend line here since October or since November. So when the bear market really started, right? This was the last high, and since then we only came down. We got rejected a couple of times here, okay? And we also have very strong support at where we are sitting right now, right? That's just the way it is. And this is not a support level to be taken lightly. So one of the two things will happen, right? Either we break the support by then, or we break this resistance by then. Whatever the two it might be, I don't know. I can tell you that if you came to this place to hear the answer, I don't know. I can tell you by then. Nobody knows. Don't let anyone tell you that they know, because no, they don't know. This is stupid. So But what are the scenarios right here, and what does the on-chain data says? Because a lot of things are not really agreeing with each other. Well, what the scenarios are is that we will break it to the upside or the downside. So what if we break it to the downside? Well, I already draw this line, and this is in the area of around $16,500. A lot of people, they have this psychological, point of $10,000 in their mind, and you'll see it everywhere, probably, right? You read it on Twitter. You hear people talk about 10K, 10K, 10K. Yes, it's not only psychological. 10K is a pretty decent. 10K is a very strong level. Right? I mean, this is something we have been rejected. We have found support so many times, but there's so much in between. I mean, 20K wasn't a very big support level as well. We had a little bit going on right here. It was the peak. It was a fake out. It was basically nothing. And we had a little bit trouble in this area right here in the run up to this last bull run. But that was 20K. However, we're holding this 20K area for months now, like very strong, right? And there's not a clear resistance area right here. Yeah, there are some at 22K, but we made some high highs. We tried. We found a new level, but it looks like the bulls are, the bears are really, they have their power right there. They keep pushing it down, but the bulls are strong. So breaking this level, I don't know. But it could happen. But what I mean is that, because this wasn't a very big, strong support level to start with, there are a lot of levels before 10K that may not look that strong to you as well, which could be very strong. So I just don't think that 10K is that likely. It's not impossible. I mean, crypto could do everything. Could be, if it's $100,000 tomorrow, I would be surprised, but then again, I'll still be like, yeah, okay, it's crypto, so makes sense, right? It's like weird. So, but the very first support level that I really see being strong is, this 17.5, of course, where we found support last time, but then, $16,500 with a lot of stuff going on right there. We had some stuff going on right here. So $16,500 looks like the first level that we will go through. And I think that if we break this, we will bounce here and we will do something like this, to be honest. Although that 17.5K is, of course, a psychological level, like, we're making new lower lows. And a lot of people might panic, and the panic might cause this level to break. And then we will probably see somewhere around, let me get this straight for you. $14,000, give or take. $14,000 between $14,000 and $15,000, and there's a lot more. Especially 12.5, by the way, and then we are approaching 11, and 10K is just not happening for me anytime soon. At least I hope it does. I'm prepared, but I don't think so. Right. So if we break to the upside, that's also a possibility, right? If we zoom out a little bit, what do we see? And let me make this a little smaller right here. What do we see if we break to the upside for Bitcoin, right? Is there, because we will break this eventually, and we can draw this line like right here, and we can go down. At a certain point, we break it, right? Wherever it might be. For now, let's say that we will break it somewhere in this area right here. What might happen? Well, of course, look, like these previous resistances will still be resistances. But the thing is, we don't have this trend line working against us anymore. This will work in our favor if we get this as support, right? So that's really helpful. But then, $22,000 will definitely be a big resistance point. Then absolutely 24, right? Last level around 25.5, and if we finally break that, I can finally see us go pretty quickly to 28, and then the magical number of around 30, and then above. And then I can name them all for you. We're not there by far. So let's wait for that. But again, keep your eyes on it. My strategy right now is 50% crypto, 50% cash. Very simple. Because like I showed you in other videos, I'll be preaching this. I made a video like, I don't know, a week ago, maybe slightly more, saying like, oh, I sold a lot of crypto because I expect things to go lower. Well, it went lower yesterday, slightly. That was not what I'm talking about. But it will go lower, in my opinion, in the meantime, because still, and you must not base your tactics just on one thing, right? But the RSI itself, it's not looking like it's going to break out yet. Stochastic RSI is resetting. If you haven't seen my video where I explain this about the stochastic RSI, go watch it. The thumbnail of the video is, I think it says, I'm not buying. Check it out. I will make it pop it up above, by the way, what I'm doing stupid for. Go check it out. Because very shortly, yes, the stochastic RSI is resetting right now. The last time that happened, from the moment it reset until where it found that bottom, was from here, from the bottom, from top to the bottom, was a 60% dump for Bitcoin. Time before that happened was here, right? So that was exactly the top. And where was the bottom of where it finally resetted was here. 52% dump for Bitcoin. I can give you more examples on how that can have some big moves. But yeah, I think you get the point. So, and again, it might be that this happens, right? We do this, and now we hover here, and we go here again. And then probably this happens. Could be. But based on, what happened before, I don't expect, and I wouldn't bet all my money on it, right? Therefore, I'm still 50% in crypto because it could shoot up in no time. But I'm also 50% in cash because if this happens, I don't want to feel like shit, right? If Bitcoin is suddenly minus $1,600. No, but if it goes down, I want to feel like shit. All right, so let's take a look at some charts. And I just pulled up some charts that I think that are really important. And what's the conclusion right here? I don't know. Let's just take a look at it. The Bitcoin wallet size is of more than 1,000 Bitcoin, right? So these are the absolute whales. What are the whales doing right now? So the Bitcoin price is the blue line, and the Bitcoin whales are as the orange line. All right. So the whales lately. Pretty funny that the whales have been, and this is in October 21. So the whales at the top of the bull run basically didn't do shit, right? And let me make a better zoom for you guys. Otherwise, here we go. So in the top of the bull run, the whales basically didn't do shit. They didn't sell, right? It's very weird because when we came down in Bitcoin price, wallets came down a little bit, but they also really sold when it was too late. So guess what? Whales can't look in the future as well, right? But then again, all of a sudden, in March, when Bitcoin didn't really do anything spectacular, whales just really, there were so many more whales all of a sudden, which was really weird. And since then, they have been slowly selling. But what happened in the last few months, since July, so July, August, and now September, whales are basically doing nothing, right? There are no more new whales. They're not buying, they're not selling. So what does that mean? They also wait for stuff to happen because the Bitcoin price is not really based on what whales are doing, right? Whales move based on the macro. And we move based on the macro, but we also kind of move based on what the whales are doing. So they are waiting right now. What are they waiting for? Because when Bitcoin was like, $19,000. Oh, here we go. When Bitcoin was around, $19,000, and when Bitcoin is around $24,000, it doesn't really change that much. Although that's quite of a big move for Bitcoin. It's not considered anything important if you ask the whales. So they are waiting for a big move, up or down, right? So I'm just trying to move with these guys. Like, okay, you waiting? All right, I'm waiting. I was waiting anyway, but this confirms me that I should wait with some big moves, right? So keep that in mind. We have the Bitcoin 2-year MA multiplier, and the green line is the 2-year moving average. And the 2-year moving average is how Bitcoin moves on average in 2 years. Yeah, well, I should not explain that to you. And the thick blue line is the Bitcoin price. Now, what stands out to me, that Bitcoin has been under this 2-year moving average quite some time, right? It went under it right here, went under it here in 2015 for quite a while. It went below it in 2017, is it 2019, sorry. It went below it, you know, shortly in the COVID crash, and it went below it right now. So basically in every bear market, this is what Bitcoin does, right? This is nothing new. We are below it, also not much more than any other time, right? I mean, if you look at the percentages, I think there's not much difference between now and then, for example. So when it comes to that, I feel good, because every time we went below it, it was the best buying opportunity you ever had for Bitcoin, right? I mean, here, Bitcoin was $3 when we went below it. Guess what? The top of the next bull run, it was $1,100. You know, calculate that. Then here, when we were below it, it was sitting at around $220, right? Also, best buying opportunity ever, because in the next cycle, it went to $20,000. 100x. Next time we went below it was in the 2019 bear market. Bitcoin was around, you know, $3,300. What happened after that? We went to $70,000. Now again, we are below that. We are sitting at around $20,000. What will happen? Well, in the next cycle, I don't know, but probably based on this, something really good, right? 200 weekly moving average is showing something different though, because like I just showed you, the 200 yearly moving average is just doing what it always does. 200 weekly moving average, however, is spending a lot more time beneath, the Bitcoin price is spending a lot more time beneath the 200 weekly moving average. So that's slightly different. Is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. It's different. Then we have the rainbow price chart indicator, and this is just perspective, in my opinion, right? This is just perspective. It's basically also what I just showed you. It's just the indicator. This is how Bitcoin moves. So based on that, we can say like when it's a good time to buy and when it's a good time to sell. So every time, for example, if we go back in history, if we zoom in, the blue territory, you know, fire sell, then we have screaming buy, accumulate, also good, still cheap, right? Still cheap is still cheap, right? Hodl, yellow is hodl, so not selling or anything. And then the orange is getting near, you know, this is getting maybe a little bit too expensive and we should consider selling some, right? So that's how Bitcoin moves. And every time it is in this blue area, of course, it's a good time to buy, right? If we zoom in on this part, it's a blue area, green area, whatever. If you bought there, you would have made life-changing money. If you just have $1,000, you would have really changed your life. So that's incredible with how little money you can have such an impact. All right. Now, when we look where we are right now, which is quite funny that in the last, this also stands out to me, that in the last bull run, we never even went near the serious sell, right? We had the FOMO incentives, and is this a bubble territory? But we never went in this area right here. Like, and we went there a lot of times before. Even here, we popped out. There's not even something called for that. Like, this is a ladder, this is a ladder, this is a ladder, this is a ladder, this is a ladder. This is 4 ladders above. Like, what the fuck is this? This should be a meme area or something. I don't know. So it's not weird to be in this area, right? But in the last bull run, we weren't even near that. Well, we are now are at the cheapest area we could be, right? So to put some things in perspective, like, oh man, this might be really super cheap. I mean, purely based on this, and it's hard to forecast, but let's say we shoot up today, right, to this area right here, Bitcoin will be worth $200,000. And I say today because this, this moves up, right? So by the time we actually get there in the red area, it's way more than $200,000, right? So sorry, but yeah, that's just some perspective. So on average, if you see the average between this, where is Bitcoin at average, right? It spends a lot of time in the blue area. It's also spending a lot of time in the red area and even above. So let's say that the average is at least this yellow orange part, right? So if we at least go to average, Bitcoin should be around, well, where is it? I can't even find it. Here it is. $70,000, something like that, right? That should be average. Well, that's an all-time high. Okay, so we have the price forecast tool, also pretty important. What I noticed, I said it before, every time this, what is it, pink and orange line cross, it's actually pretty good time to buy, right? Every time these lines cross, and now the orange line is coming beneath the yellow line, right? That's important to know. And when did that happen? Well, it, for example, happened here in 2015. They crossed, and what happened? We didn't get an immediate pump, but it slowly started to grind back up, and it didn't look like a lot, but Bitcoin at $200, while it went up pretty much 4x, slow but steady, not a big pump, but 4x. Then it crossed again, and we really had the pump of a lifetime, right? And that's just one example. Let me see, was it here a pump as well? This was the other way around. So that's not a good example. But that's just what stands out to me. Also, we usually hold these lines pretty good, right? We hold these lines pretty good. We never really go below these lines, and now we basically almost touching it. So again, if we are not at the bottom, we are at least near the bottom, right? So at 10K Bitcoin, it sounds like it's super close to where we are right now. But it's just as close as $30,000 Bitcoin, where we were at $60,000 Bitcoin. It sounds a lot more far away, while it's exactly the same. It's just a 50% dump, right? So weird. So then we have the 1 year hodl wave. This is just for the long term, in my opinion, and it's almost time to wrap it up, by the way. But this is the long-term hodl wave. So this is the amount of wallets that hold Bitcoin for more than a year, right? That's the orange line. And that's just slowly getting up over time, right? So you'll see that people are having more and more and more conviction in Bitcoin. So back in the day when Bitcoin had such a dump, I can imagine that people, sell their shit because they don't know about it. Now it's getting, we are so much more years later by now. We're 12. Well, do I say that correctly? 2010, 12 years later. So in that case, people already know a lot more about Bitcoin, and they know for now it always climbs back up, right? There's not a single cycle where Bitcoin doesn't go back to its previous all-time high, let alone, go beyond it. So why would people, sell? Yeah, for trading, for taking profits and getting back in later. But people know, like, okay, I shouldn't get rid of all my holdings, because at the end of the day, if you buy Bitcoin, you win, right? That's just the way it is. And then the last one, Bitcoin active addresses. And that's kind of telling me the same. Like Bitcoin, the active addresses are growing over time, right? So there are just more people getting into crypto. So if there are more people getting into crypto, I can't see the price, finding new extreme lows. It doesn't make sense. Although this is something you should look at. The active addresses that's the orange line as well, which is pretty funny that you'll see right here that people in the top of a bull run are super active right here. Top in 2013. Look at this peak right here. This was the peak, and when the bull run was over, this drops drastically from 180 addresses up to 120 addresses. So like a third of the people felt like, oh, the bull run is over, I'm not going to do anything anymore. Like, huh? But isn't that the time you should be more active. But that's, you know, that's how it works. And that's every fucking single time. This was really like, this was the bull run in 2017 where it was $20,000, right? And it came down to $3,000. The active addresses were 1.2 million addresses, and it came all the way down to 500,000 addresses in like no time. Like, people getting scared. They're getting scared, and it's nothing new right now. If we zoom in at where we are right now in 2021, active addresses 1.2 million also came down all the way 700,000. So keep in mind, don't let the market don't let it do to you what it wants to do to you. Like, do the opposite of what your emotions are telling you. That's basically what you have to do with crypto, and that's not even financial advice, of course. It's just like, yeah, experience talking. So yeah, with that being said, I hope this was a little informational for you. Sorry for the long video, but I just want to put some things in perspective. So again, will we go up? Will we go down? I don't know. All I know is we are at least very close to the bottom. I do expect one big crash, especially for altcoins. That's the point where I will be dollar costing heavily with my last money. And I'm not afraid to do that with my last money, because if altcoins are then sitting 30 times from their all-time high, I'm happy to make a 30x, and maybe I could have made a 40x. But a 30x on a low cap, safe, low risk, or high cap, low risk, safe altcoin like Chainlink, DOT, Cardano, whatever. That's ridiculous, man. That's ridiculous. So that's it. Subscribe to the channel, be a part of the family, like the video, push it a little bit into YouTube's algorithm, leave a comment with your thoughts on the crypto market, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.